Hello, everyone. Today we are discussing how multitasking with technology raises important ethical and social concerns in professional settings. My goal today is to walk you through the key ideas, ethical frameworks, and implications for modern organizations. Today's article is titled The Ethics and Etiquette of Multitasking in the Workplace. It's by Raquel Bembunen Fish, published in the IEEE Technology and Society magazine in 2012. And I am your presenter, Lara Marji. Before we dive into the details, let me give you a quick overview of today's presentation. We will start by defining what multitasking means. Then we will look at why multitasking is such an important issue to study in the workplace and examine how attention and technology interact to shape this behavior. Next, we will consider multitasking in meetings, which is a common and highly relevant setting. From there, we will explore two ethical frameworks, deontology and utilitarianism, and see how they apply in multitasking behavior. We will also review how codes of ethics and workplace rules address multitasking and discuss the metaphor of performing under the influence to highlight its consequences. Finally, we will wrap up with key takeaways and some discussion questions to reflect on your own experiences. To begin, it is essential to define our terms. Our author, in her 2011 article uh, titled Measuring Multitasking Behavior with Activity Based Metrics, she defines multitasking as engaging in more than one unrelated activity at the same time. It specifies two key criteria. The two tasks must be independent of one another and they must be performed concurrently. This is distinct from, for example, taking notes on a laptop during a meeting, since the note taking is directly related to the meeting's objective. It is not true multitasking. However, checking unrelated emails or texts on that same device while in that same meeting is a clear example of multitasking. Other examples of us multitasking on the daily basis are talking on the phone while driving. Before we dig any deeper, let's explore why are we studying multitasking. We live in an era where multitasking seems almost natural. This behavior seems to be ingrained in many of our humanly activities on a day-to-day basis. The author explains that while multitasking often provides us with an illusion of productivity, in reality, we are not able to fully focus on any single task. This inattention can have severe consequences in some cases. This, the potential of severe consequences or the consequences to harm oneself or others is at the core of the ethical problem of multitasking. As previously mentioned, multitasking can give the illusion of productivity, but often causes reduction of performance. And that is because employees would experience either voluntary distractions, interruptions, and these are self imposed breaks in the flow of work, or involuntary interruptions, and those can come from getting distracted by notifications from electronic devices, communication services. Now, Linda Stone, she introduced the concept of continuous partial attention. This occurs when the workers constantly scan their environment to avoid missing anything. Now, technology magnifies this by introducing alerts and notifications. In extreme cases, such divided attention can lead to severe consequences or complete inattention. Examples of that in a case of airplane pilots who were distracted by their devices, they actually missed their destination. And in a not as fortunate incident in California, An engineer, a train engineer, actually caused a fatal accident because of being distracted over texting or over their phone. Now, multitasking in meetings. This article focuses specifically on multitasking in meetings because it presents a unique ethical challenge. A meeting is supposed to be a mutual activity, it's supposed to be a collective endeavor. Participants are expected to maintain a single focus of both their cognitive attention and visual attention. Unfortunately, you will find people who are covertly checking their phones or overtly working on their laptops during the meeting. While many people see this as simply rude or inconsiderate, our author argues that it is a moral issue and not just a matter of etiquette. To analyze this further, our author applies two ethical frameworks. First, deontology, or duty based ethics, which states that an act is right or wrong in and of itself. Applying deontology principles using Immanuel Kant's universality theory, which asks if an action can become a universal law for everyone to follow. The conclusion is that if everyone were to multitask in a meeting, the meeting would have no purpose and it is just entirely unuseful. This makes the act unethical in its nature. Now, it also violates the reciprocity principle from also Immanuel Kant, which this principle describes that using other people as means to an end is unethical. So, if part of the employees at the meeting are actually attending and the other part are actually multitasking, for example, or want to say doing other activities on their laptops, they are using those attending employees as means to have the meeting going on. So that is in itself unethical. The second framework, utilitarianism or ends based ethics, it judges an action by its consequences and its contribution to the overall good. The goal is to maximize happiness for greatest number of people. This analysis concludes that multitasking in meetings is unethical because the individual benefit gained by one person does not outweigh the impact and lack of productivity for the entire group. So, in this scenario, it does not maximize the collective utility. So, if it is unethical, why is this behavior so pervasive? The article notes that, much like when email and web browsing were introduced in the past, multitasking lacks formal workplace guidelines. Some organizations respond with topless meetings. That term simply implies that laptops and phones are entirely banned from the meetings. Professional codes in multiple disciplines such as business, medicine, law, they all stress the full attention to the tasks. Yet many workplaces still lack clear multitasking policies. Towards the end of her article, the author uses a powerful term to summarize her argument. She calls technological multitasking a form of performing under the influence, since the cognitive impairments that it causes are comparable to those from drugs or alcohol. Ultimately, it is morally irresponsible to deny full attention to the work that you are being paid to do. And this article serves as a crucial call to action to raise awareness about this pervasive issue in the modern workplace. In summary, multitasking may feel productive, but it diminishes quality, attention, ethical responsibility. Using ethical reasoning, we see that multitasking is not only impolite, but also morally questionable. The article calls for greater awareness and strong rules to guide workplace behavior. Before I leave you, I would like to pose these questions for you to consider. Do you agree that multitasking crosses the line into unethical behavior? Should companies restrict device use in meetings? Do you think it's going to be helpful? And finally, how do you personally manage your attention in a world full of distractions? With this, we have come to the end of our presentation. I appreciate you for listening in.